Steel City Sports back here, so I just wanted to talk about the Packers-Eagles game. It just wrapped up about 10-15 minutes ago. I put out my initial reaction short video. I also commented on the potential Jordan Love injury, so I just wanted to talk a little more in-depth about that stuff. This is not going to be as in-depth of a breakdown as I did for the Ravens-Chiefs game because I was literally sitting down writing notes for that entire game. I didn't do that for this one. I just sat back and watched it. And I honestly enjoyed this game more. It was more back and forth, even though it did have a big similarity to that game last night with the refs getting involved. A lot of penalties in this one as well. It goes into what we said about that game last night. These refs are not fucking around when it comes to these formation calls. The league office, they're looking to make a statement here. They're putting their foot down. So I don't want to make the whole video about penalties. Just wanted to quickly comment on that. It was a big part of this game. But that aside, this was a really fun game, back and forth. The Eagles got off to a disastrous start. I don't think you could have envisioned a worse start to the Philadelphia Eagles season with their first drive of the year. Jalen Hurts just looked terrible. He did not look good. He overthrew one, and then on a third and long, he throws an interception. They get it back, and he fumbles. And this goes into a big narrative of this game. And I think one of the biggest talking points for the Eagles going forward in this season is the connection between Jalen Hurts and the new center, Jurgens. They don't have a connection. And we all knew it was going to be a big problem. It was going to take time to replace a guy like Jason Kelce. You don't replace a guy like that. But having a full offseason to really, get these two together, build some camaraderie, looks like they don't have any at all. They were fucking up the whole night. They had really no connection. So that's probably my biggest area of concern for the Eagles because other than that, their offense did look really good. Jalen was pretty up and down, but that was really my biggest worry for them was they botched at least 5 or 6 easy handoffs and really costed them in big moments. It didn't come back to bite them in the ass because they won. Let's talk about why they won this game, though. Saquon Barkley. And we talked about Saquon this whole offseason. Even though I don't think he's going to get as big as an offensive load as he had in New York, I still thought that he was going to have the best season of his career. And I've said that in multiple videos in this offseason. I do have receipts of that because he doesn't have the burden that he once had in New York where he has to completely carry an offense on his back, especially last year where he was literally the only offensive playmaker on the New York Giants. And this was, the broadcasters mentioned this a bunch of times because it's a really obvious thing. This is by far the best offensive line that Saquon has ever played behind. And I saw some stat. I was scrolling through Instagram during the game. Saquon only had one 3-touchdown game his entire tenure with the New York Giants. His first game with the Philadelphia Eagles, he had 3 touchdowns. He was the reason why the Eagles won this game because Jalen, he had some really good moments. Obviously, to start off the second half, he had that 67-yard bomb down to A.J. Brown. That was awesome, of course. But Jalen played pretty sloppy in this game. Jalen was not great. Saquon was the reason they won this game. Saquon was the offense in this game. Looking at the Packers side of things, though, their offense was humming as well. They were in this game the entire time. Their offense is sweet, and I think I kind of underrated their weapons. I always said they have a nice core of young weapons, but wow, I didn't think they were this good. And Jayden Reed, I think for sure, is going to be the number one guy on this team. I mean, he was open the entire game. I can't remember if he had 1 or 2 touchdowns, but he was balling. Watson had a touchdown in this one. Even Romeo Doubs had a couple of good plays, so the Packers' offense is completely loaded. This was just a fun game, because there wasn't a whole lot of defense being played, although there were some moments where the Eagles' defense impressed me. That it's either Baum or Bone guy, that linebacker, he really stepped up for the Eagles, made some really big plays. And the rookie, Quinyon Mitchell, if you listen to me in the offseason, was one of my favorite prospects. I really, really, really wanted him to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He looked really good in this game. He was shut down. He's a big standout for the Eagles in this game. The Packers defense, very iffy. We're going to have to see with this new coordinator because they gave the old defensive coordinator, Joe Barry, a lot of the blame for their defense last year. The defense was still pretty iffy in this game as well. Outside of, Jaire Alexander had some really good plays. He had an interception, but very shaky. I'm not going to take too much away from it because it is week one, but this was just a really fun scoring game, back and forth. Obviously, I think the biggest storyline, the biggest headline coming out of this game going forward is, what's the deal with Jordan Love? Is he injured? It looked really bad when it first initially happened because he was just flat out laying on the field. He wasn't trying to get up or anything. He was just flat out on the field, writhing in pain, needed help off the field. And when they showed the replay, it looked brutal, because Jalen Carter was trying to pull him to the ground, and he just twisted his leg the wrong way, and he landed on it very ugly. You hate to see that. And like I said in my short, I'm not even a Packers fan, but if you're just an NFL fan, your heart had to sink in that moment to see that happen, especially when the game was decided. The Packers, they had lost this game. Jordan Love, though, being the competitor that he is, he was trying to extend this game and try to get the Hail Mary prayer answered here. So I give Love credit for that, trying to extend the play, throwing the ball to Jacobs. But sometimes you just got to go down. And I think there is a silver lining here for Packers fans because although Love was helped off the field, they did show him on the sideline walking around on his own. So that is kind of a good sign for me. But if he misses any sort of time, even if he misses one game, that is a brutal, devastating loss for the Packers because the game was decided, and he showed in this game why he was given the money that he was given. He was playing like a top 10 quarterback in this game. Even though he had an interception, outside of that, Jordan Love was incredible in this game and deserved every penny of that contract. So those are kind of my quick thoughts. Probably not that quick. This video was probably over 10 minutes. I don't know. But if you watch the game, 100% let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments. I really enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe.